Okay, so this is a continuation. So we are done with the row breakers. We are done with the row breakers, and we are done with the 20 and 15 fathoms, so 25-20. Now, I want us to talk about the anchors. The anchors. Yeah, and we are four. I don't know what the four mean, but we are four anchors. Okay. What was the job of the anchors? We discussed it last time. The anchors? Yes. So the job of the anchors was to stop the ship from moving forward. The reason, it was not safe for them to continue moving in the direction they were going to. Yeah. In the direction they were going to. And the ship was facing danger. Yeah. And the danger was, one, they know that now they are going to reach, like they are close to the end of the journey. But the problem is it's night. It's night. And the ship needs to be stopped. The ship needs to stop moving. And that was the safest way. Yeah. And what stopped the ship from moving is the anchors. But we learned from the story that still the anchors were not supposed, they were not destined to continue protecting the what? The ship, but only to delay the what? The shipwreck. Only to delay the shipwreck. Yeah. To delay it. And those anchors, they are going to be removed at the third way mark. That's what we saw. Yeah. So I have verses which actually and quotations where Ellen White shows that, like in Hebrews, if you type the word anchor, Paul will be saying your faith will be what? An anchor in difficult what? Times. So that's a parable. The same way the anchor can keep the ship stable in the times of storm. That is how your faith can keep you what? Stable in the time of storms, like the sandal, you need that anchor. And also, Ellen White, when you type the word anchor, it's used in the same way. Ellen White would be telling people that the truth, this truth and that truth, present truth, is an anchor to believers. Yeah. So right there, the purpose of the anchor, it's like with Acts 27, when the ship is in danger and it cannot continue moving, what is the only way to protect the ship is by lowering the what? The anchors. Yeah. So the anchors are a form of protection in the difficult time period. Once you reach, if we are looking at a Christian journey, when Ellen White is talking about the anchor or pole, when at peace, when things are just okay, do you need anchors? You don't. You need an anchor in very difficult situation in time period. That is when you need an anchor. And anchors, even in Acts 27, they serve the same purpose, to make the ship stable and stop moving the direction it's going. Because if it continues, what will happen in that direction? Shipwreck will take place. Yeah. So these anchors, let's say no. So these anchors, if we look at them, they are connected with the waves. So with those waves which are taking place at the sea and all that, and if they continue, they don't know, because they have discerned that they are now like close to the, maybe they might hit rocks and all that. And these anchors, they are going to like put a stop to the direction that the ship is going to. Are we getting the point? Yes. And this is when the anchors are employed. Yeah. So that is roughly the context of the anchors. So what should we expect in 2021? 2021 is the ship needs to face danger because of the direction it's heading to. And what is the protection? We need to see that direction to be put to a what? A stop or a pause, which will be some sort of provide a delay for the shipwreck. And whichever entity or a thing that provide that in 2021 is what fulfills, or it's what qualifies to be the category of the what? The anchors. Yeah. I think there have been some movement suggestions like the anchors, it's Biden, because the name of Biden, it's the anchors, it's connected to anchors. But the question is, did Biden prevent the danger in 2021? No. Biden was actually a helpless person. Biden didn't provide the danger. Yeah. Or didn't prevent the danger. Even the certification of Biden didn't actually just that mere certification didn't. But what we should expect is that crisis that took place in 2021. Yeah. What will qualify to be, will fit in to be the anchor? One, it's going to put to a stop to the direction that Someone is saying, did he Biden not provide the delay of the shipwreck? Okay. If we look at how anchors come in is due to the danger that is in at the first waymark. Yeah. And we must see the anchor dealing with what? The danger that is there, preventing the what? The danger, because that's what we saw in the story. Yeah, that is what we saw in the story. Yeah. And what is the danger? The danger is January 6th, which is connected with lawbreakers, because that was the real danger. And the lawbreakers, what did we say? So what? Turnout of the people. What do they want? Overturning the what? The elections. And now, so what will the anchors do? Prevent that what? That process. They will prevent that process of overturning the elections, and not only doing that, but providing a what? A delay, meaning whatever direction that ship is going to be a delay. Yeah. Of which, if we analyze that context, we put Biden there. How did Biden prevent the overturning of the crisis, January 6th, the elections? Was Biden a president? Who had the power? Who had the power? Is it Biden? Is it the Democrats? The Republicans who had the power. So if the Republicans who had the power, what's the proof? How did Biden then come in and prevented the overturning? Because Biden won the election, isn't it? Won the elections in 2020. Then what needs to take place? Needs to be sworn in. And who needs to allow that? Republicans and who? Trump. And that is, since they had the power, it's going to initiate the process, which were the turnout, the lawbreakers, turning the what? The elections. And now, what did Biden do to prevent that? Nothing. It's just waiting there that whichever course it's going, like if this is unsuccessful, I'm going to have the power and all that. If it's not, I think the situation the USA was in, it was very dangerous. Yeah. So this is why I'm saying Biden doesn't prevent the danger of 2021. But he was just like all of us, watching for what take place. And the anchors who represent anything that is going to prevent that crisis. Because we are talking, the ship is in danger. How did they prevent that danger? The what? The anchors. Meaning the institution 2021, it's in danger. Then what will be the anchors? The anchors will be, and what danger is the institution in? Overturning of the elections, which is very critical. Yeah. And the people or whoever or whatever entity is going to prevent that from taking place, that will be the anchors. Not only that, before the anchors, the ship is moving in a certain direction. And what did the anchors do? Stop the what? The ship from moving. And we need to see that before this 2021 crisis, the ship is already in a what? A certain course, which is a bad what? Course. Those who are going to fulfill to be the anchors, one, they are going to exactly do that job. Stop that movement. And for a moment, the ship is going to stop. And prevent that danger. And of which I personally, I don't see Biden doing that. But if someone has a way of Biden doing that, I'm free to be corrected. Yeah, but Biden was sworn in 20th what? January. If he was sworn in 20th January, what did he do to prevent January 6th? He didn't do anything. No, he didn't do anything. Yeah. So now I want us to read 2021 again and see who prevented that. Yeah, by the way, I might be wrong. Yeah. So let me check my notes again. Okay. Regina, what is PC is slow. Okay. Yeah, then we close. So here are my notes. Okay. So this is about January 6th. Okay, so Dan, this is coming from the quotation from the book first. I'll finish what we started. So he's saying, so after like the January, so he's commenting on the election. Dan never doubted the election was stolen. Dan is the one who formalized the precinct strategy to take over the Republican Party from bottom up. So he said, Dan never doubted the election was stolen. Everybody and their dog knew it, he said. He expected nothing less from the Democrats. But the problem was the Republicans who were letting them get away with it. Did they expect anything from the Democrats? No. Not from Biden, not from the Democrats. Dan watched with disdain as the Republican county supervisors in Maricopa County summarily rejected all the alleged irregularities and certified the results. Then the Republican governor of Arizona signed the certification, stopping momentarily to literally silence a call to his cell phone from Trump himself. And the Republican state legislators, what did they do? Dan emailed every single one of them, telling them to reject this election and appoint their own electors for Trump. Dan argued that the Constitution gave the legislatures the exclusive and unlimited power to regulate election. In this election, officials all around the country had started marking accommodation on account of the pandemic, like drop boxes and drive-through voting. In Dan's view, those accommodations made without express or authorization from the state legislatures had been illegal. So the state legislatures should declare the election was fraudulent and accept their power to decide the outcome as the people's representatives. They didn't even need to give a reason. Dan thought they could have said it was because they had frosted flakes scented of chariots from the breakfast. It was solely up to them under the Constitution. Only the Republican state legislatures were either too scared or too stupid to go through it. These were the rhinos, the fake Republicans that Dan's precinct strategy was meant to eliminate. Instead of doing the one thing they could do to change the outcome, Arizona Republicans were wasting time talking about the audits. Yeah. So, Dan, this quotation we are reading, what is it saying? Who prevented? Who was Trump calling to change the outcome of the elections? Who was Trump forcing? Is it Democrats? No, it's who? Republicans. Because in those even swing states which decided the outcome of the elections, who were in control of those states? It's Republicans. So the 2020 elections and the fate of those elections, they were at the mercy of who? Republicans. And what course is the ship going into? 2019. In that, when Trump was involved in the abuse of power, he was charged for two. Abuse of power and what? 2019. Abuse of power and not following Congress. What do they call that crime? Yeah, not following Congress, which is, they charged him for two. And what did the Republican Party do in 2019? They said, regardless of what Trump has done, we are for who? Trump. That is the course the ship was going to. It's the biggest party in the USA. The Republican Party decided that they are full mega. They can't break away from the king. And that direction the ship was going to, it will be tested in 2021 by something greater. The elections of the USA are about to be overturned. Then the Republican Party is tested again. Whether, because the outcome of those elections, whether they will now go to Trump or Biden, they were in the mercy of who? Republicans. And now Republicans, what was the course the ship was going to? They are full support of Trump and MAGA. And now in 2021, in those elections, it's them who needs to decide. And believe you me, what were we expecting? 2019, they said we are for Trump. And in 2021, the right is saying those decisions, just few Republicans were supposed to say, we are going. Trump even called some of them to say, do this. Republicans. Okay. So it's the Republicans whom they called the rhinos or the establishment Republicans who decided to say this time we're not going to listen to who? Trump and mega demands. So I'll read the other one. So the suggestion that Trump did not already fully dominate the Republican Party is solely confusing to the non-supporters. Hadn't Republican politicians spent contorting themselves to conform to his whims and pretending not to have seen his latest tweet? But from the perspective of mega movement, weak Republicans were the clear culprit for selling out Trump when everything was on the line. His supporters learned from this shortcoming and organized to address it. They decided that they had to take over the party apparatus from the ground up. Yeah, so this is talking about, yeah. So the other one, for 3 hours every weekday and 2 on Saturdays, Bannon and his guests developed a canon of the stolen election myth. The fraud was the first party. The Democrats always tried that it was given. The second part, the crucial step, was the stab in the back. The Republican election officials and the state legislators who knew the election was stolen and let the Democrats get away with it. So, who decided that the election should be maintained? It's the Republicans. State officials and what? The legislators, Republicans. It's them. All the time out of 2020 had, as offer foretold, done the premier work of undermining institution and creating a receptivity to a new faith. Now it was up to, so you have the Biden. So Bannon wasn't messing around with okay. Yes. So the last one I'll read. Bannon had a better idea. This is when Trump wanted to form, like was saying, threatening, I'll form the third party. Then Bannon had a better idea. The way Bannon saw it, there already was the third party. That was the establishment. He hungered to destroy the neocons, neoliberals, big donors, globalists, Wall Street, and corporates, elites. He sometimes called them the Uniparty because they were the only ones who ever got power, no matter whether Democrats or Republicans won the election. This formulation was entirely wrong to the extent that the structure of the two, outside the Uniparty, as Bannon saw it, there was the progressive wing of the Democratic Party, which he considered a relative small slice of the electorate. And the rest of the vast majority of the country was mega. Bannon believed the mega movement, if it could break out of being suppressed and marginalized by the establishment. Anyway, so what I was reading is to show that they saw that the ones who actually prevented the storm of January 6th, it was Republicans. It was the Republicans. Yeah. If you start, you read, it goes even further. The one who now finally nailed it is Mike Pence, who refused. Trump even said, we believe he would do what? The need. is the one who now rejected Trump and betrayed Trump, decided to, because it's the vice president who chairs that meeting and officially what? Decides to certify the elections. And who was that? It was Mike Pence. Yeah. Yeah. So, and what I'm suggesting, as I conclude now, what I'm suggesting these anchors to be. So here on top, this is 2019. The Republican in 2019, the Republican on November 1 or 9th, I think their studies, they had a meeting in response to the impeachment, what they are going to do. What decision did they make? They are going to side with Trump. They are going to side with Trump. Yeah. So that is the course. And the Trump is in power. And no single Republicans in the House voted to impeach Trump. In the Senate, it's only one, Mitt Romney. Yeah. And we see the Republican Party in 2019, it's a party of mega. And when 2021 is coming, the test is actually for the Republican Party. What would have happened if the Republican Party went ahead with that, helped Trump to steal the election? What was in danger more? Is it once they do that, if they did that, that was the final thing for them completely. There's the Republican Party is fully what? Mega. And that term, if the Republicans helped Trump and they succeeded, that term of Trump, how would it would have been a term where all Republicans, since they have supported him to get to overturn the elections, is there a return? No, that would have been a presidency where Trump will be doing everything that he wanted, and no Republican will say no. Because if you say no, you'll be like, but you helped to overturn. If you can go to a point of overturning the election, why are you? Yeah. So that was what was at stake. That would have been the end of this party you call the Republican Party. And it would have started now the beginning of the destruction of those, whatever we are seeing right now, Trump doing with the USA government. That is what was supposed to be happening in those 4 years. Yes, in those 4 years, and far worse. And the only, and the Republican Party, that would have been the end. When you said the death of the Republican Party, it was supposed to be there. It's done. And that term, it would have been everything. The Republican Party just doing it. That is what was at stake. Then finally, some Republicans, it's the establishment, Republicans, and they mock them by the mega movement. They say the rhinos. What did the rhinos do? they are the ones who had to put to a stop to that. They prevented the overturning of the elections. Then at the same time, they had to, that is the one we are saying, what did they do to Trump? Scatter him from the party. And this was a victory for the rhinos. And for a moment, as long as Trump is not in control of this party, what will be happening? The shipwreck will be what? Delayed. Yeah. The shipwreck will be delayed. Yeah. And so my suggestion is that it's these who did the job. And once they did the job, Mike Pence finally even betrays Trump. All those, the Republicans, we see the storm coming down. Yes, we see the storm coming down. You remember I had a study which was about Hitler. You remember that study? Yes, so I'll repeat it in the future. And we lined January 2021 with the Hitler trying to take German by what? By force. Who prevented Hitler? His own what? Part. And what did Hitler learn? He learned that, I don't control this part. Yeah. Yeah. So, and that is what took place in 2021. Trump failed because of the Republicans, the rhinos. And when they had to exile MAGA, that is how the shipwreck ended up delaying. And the destruction of the Republican Party delayed. But this is what the point the Republican Party was supposed to be destroyed. If at this point they sided with Trump and turned the elections, that would have been the end of the Republican Party. But at least the anchors were employed. And those anchors, I think for me, I can see that it's not the presidents of Biden. Yeah, and in the future studies, next Sabbath, we will demonstrate, because these anchors, at the coming WEMAC at Boston, there will be an attempt to provide fake anchors, which are that attempt to fail. Then we're going to see at the third WEMAC, Boston, Exeter, what will happen to the anchors? Removed. And it's at that point we need to start to see the Republican Party organizing itself, supporting who? Trump, which will lead to July 18. And once they do that at Boston, we might see now what was stopped 2021, the Republican Party from being taken over completely at Exeter in May. What we need to see is the Republican Party now finally is coming in two terms with Trump, which starts that journey. And by July 18, what happens? Trump is fully in control of the party. So I think this is, I'm ready to be corrected. I don't know what performing. Yeah. So I think I'll end the, yeah. So the anchors, I'm suggesting it's the rhinos who prevented January 6th. And as the writer, it said, for a moment, the Republican Party was now almost like it's now breaking free from what? MAGA. So this was not the end of MAGA. Yeah, it was supposed to end here. Oh, Republican Party, it was supposed to end here, but at least help came in. And that help was provided by the rhinos who decided that no more Trump, which resulted into a scattering of MAGA. So my suggestion is those are the anchors. Yeah. Anyway, I'm done now. We can pray. We say thank you, Lord, for the time you gave us to study your words. We count it as a blessing, Lord. Even as we go for lunch, be with us and bring us back at 15. In your name, Jesus, we pray. Amen.